Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Thursday, March 23, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want to access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comments section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comments section below. Michigan State vs Kansas State. In fairness, one of the Wildcats' worst roles this year was as an underdog 7-8 ATS, and they did have an average margin of victory of -3.4 points game in those contests. But the majority of those came in loaded Big 12 play, many on the road in true road games, where 7 of the 10 teams in the conference made the NCAA tournament. If Izzo's Michigan State teams get respect for a challenging non-conference schedule helping prepare them for success in March, then this year's Kansas State team has to garner similar respect for their battle-hardened ways after running the gauntlet of the Big 12 season. Michigan State's AGM, adjusted strength of schedule rating, was 5th best in the country, whereas Kansas State's was still 21st. However, more importantly, teams number 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 in that category were all Big 12 teams around Michigan State's number 5 rating, and K-State's seen them all. As long as Kansas State's offense can knock down the shots when they are needed, something USC nor Marquette could do against Michigan State, I do believe another outright upset will be in the cards for K-State. Michigan State is just 8-11 ATS this year off a win, and the 17th ranked AGD in KenPom the Kansas State Wildcats will be by far the best defense the Spartans have seen in this tournament, and the majority of Michigan State's losses have come when the offense has sputtered and failed to reach 70 points. Michigan State is just 9-9 SU this year when they failed to score 70 or more points, and that's a tough number to reach against this Kansas State defense and their 47.5% opponent effective FG percent. In a game that could easily come down to the wire, I'll turn away from all the Tom Izzo love and take the points. Our team pick is Kansas State plus 2.5 points. Teams that entered the tournament with a top 20 ranking in KenPom's AGE stat in this tournament are 13-19 OU so far, and that includes a few overs connecting when 2 top 20 teams played one another, Northwestern Boise, Northwestern UCLA for example. Kansas State fits in that category with their defense, but they've gone 2-0 OU in their 2 games, scoring an average of 76 points. Not sure that great offensive production continues for 40 minutes for the Wildcats, especially since this Spartans defense has already looked fantastic. Michigan State has cashed an under ticket in both of their games, and at least the first game fit with the Spartans' 9-11 OU history this year when priced as the favorite. With a berth to the Elite 8 on the line, guys are going to trust to be able to control what they can control, and the top thing on that list is bringing energy on defense. Shots may not always be falling, but if you can be focused and engaged on every defensive possession, the opponent is going to have a tough time seeing enough shots fall to beat you. Both of these teams are very good in that regard, and it should be a game where neither side gets to 70 without a special offensive night by a guy or two. Give me the under. Our total pick is under 137.5. Arkansas vs Connecticut. The Huskies, along with Alabama, have been playing at a higher level than any of the other teams through the first 2 rounds of the tournament. UConn has now won 8 out of 10 games and has completely dominated the paint through 2 games, averaging 36 points per game in the paint. Unfortunately, the Razorbacks can't focus on the interior alone, however, as the Huskies are shooting nearly 45% from 3 PT land. Defensively, UConn has put the clamps on both of its opponents by limiting the opposition to well under 40% shooting. Unfortunately for teams playing the Huskies, that usually results in a one-and-done possession, with the Huskies holding a plus 29 rebounding edge in the tournament. Arkansas will need to rely on Davis and Council IV to once again do the heavy lifting on offense, but they will likely be forced to take pull-up jumpers rather than drive into the teeth of the Huskies' big men along the interior. The Huskies are 5-1 ATS in their last 6 games following a win, and are 6-1 ATS in their last 7 against a team with a winning record. Look for the Huskies to roll into the West Region Final on Saturday. Take UConn 3 points. The Connecticut Huskies have the look of a team that has legitimate aspirations of a Final Four appearance. The Huskies have rolled through the first 2 rounds in the West region with victories over Iona and St. Mary's and have looked like one of the more dominating teams in the tournament. On Sunday, UConn dominated the second half and pulled away from St. Mary's for a 70-55 win to advance to the Sweet 16. The Huskies were led by big man Adama Sanogo, who had 24 points in the win. The 24-point effort followed his 28-point game against Iona in the opening round. The Huskies shot 46% from 3 PT range in the win, going 10 of 22 from long range. UConn's defense stifled St. Mary's, holding the Gales to 39% shooting in the game, including just 31% in the second half. Our total pick is over. Florida Atlantic vs Tennessee. Florida Atlantic is going to be facing its toughest test of the season, with a lot of pressure on the line, and Tennessee's physicality is going to be too much to overcome. The Vols have the best three-point defense in college basketball and are facing a Florida Atlantic offense that relies on its outside shooting. The Owls are also at a serious height disadvantage, which is only going to compound the issues they are going to have against a physical opponent. They prefer to play at a fast pace, and Tennessee is going to slow things down, creating another challenge for Florida Atlantic. The Owls are 2-13 in their last 15 games against SEC opponents, while Tennessee is 9-3 in its last 12 March games. Our team pick is Tennessee minus 5.5 points. Defense will rule the day as the Volunteers and their number 1 defense will shut down the Owls here. Tennessee is obviously excellent on the defensive end, but they also do not play fast on offense. Their tempo is ranked 278. They won their game against Duke comfortably and only scored 65 points. They did this by holding Duke to 52. Tennessee has gone under the total in 4 of their last 6, including back-to-back games in the tournament. FAU has gone under the total in 4 of their last 5 and has a defense strong enough to not allow Tennessee to run up the score. FAU's defense is ranked 35th in efficiency. Tennessee has held opponents to 55 and 52 points in the tournament, and Florida Atlantic is no offensive juggernaut. Expect the under 130.5 points to hit. Gonzaga vs UCLA. Second-seeded UCLA fended off a late surge from 7th-ranked Northwestern over the weekend, ultimately winning the game 68-63 over the Wildcats. The Bruins entered the contest laying 7.5 points, so they failed to cover the spread in the 5-point victory. As for the total, the 131 combined points snuck over the pregame threshold of 126.5 points. Individually, Jamie Jackes Jr. paved the way with 24 points scored. Amari Bailey, 14 points, also contributed double digits in the scoring category, while Tyger Campbell notched 12 points and dished out a team-leading 7 assists. Third-seeded Gonzaga was trailing 38-33 to 6th-ranked TCU after the first 20 minutes on Sunday, and it was looking like their season may be coming to an end. However, the Bulldogs put on an offensive clinic in the second half, ultimately winning the round of 32 matchup 84-81 over the Frogs. From a gambling standpoint, Gonzaga failed to cover the minus 4.5 point spread, while the 165 combined points came in comfortably over the pregame mark of 152.5 points. As for individual efforts, Drew Timm led the way, scoring 28 points on a 12-21, 57.1% shooting night. A trio of teammates joined him with double-digit scoring efforts, including Rasser Bolton, 17 points, Malachi Smith, 11 points, and Julian Strother, 10 points. Ignoring Gonzaga's Austrian shilling slide in NCAA tournament games, I believe that UCLA is flat out better than the Bulldogs. UCLA has an elite defense that has held 5 straight opponents under 70 points, along with a play style that can limit Gonzaga's tempo. While their offense isn't as explosive as Gonzaga's, they are efficient and don't give away many possessions. The Bruins are also 5-1-1 at TS in their last 7 games. I think that UCLA continues to play well and advances to the Elite 8. Our team pick is Bruins minus 1.5 points. With an offense like Gonzaga's, you don't really need to play much defense. The Bulldogs appear to have bought into the philosophy, as the T is 75th in adjusted defensive efficiency this year, limiting teams to 99.6 points per 100 possessions. To put that into perspective, only Princeton, 96th, and Miami, 108th, are lower out of the remaining 16 programs. As for defensive shooting, the Zags are 219th, allowing teams to cash 44.8% of their field goals. So, a Bruins offense that ranks 21st in adjusted offensive efficiency, 115.5 points per 100 possessions, should have no issue finding buckets against this mediocre Bulldogs defense. On the flip side, I don't expect UCLA to completely shut down Gonzaga. They're very talented and I anticipate them scoring into the upper 70s, if not breaking into the 80s for the 3rd consecutive game. Look for a higher scoring affair in Sin City, with UCLA's defense making some key stops toward the end to ultimately prevail. Let's lock in the over.